Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Mr. Schock is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll begin by saying that I am most concerned that the IRS's attempt a week ago to clean up and apologize for abusing conservative organizations seeking tax-exempt status is really the proverbial tip of the iceberg. The IRS's stellar reputation of being above partisan politics has been shattered by these revelations, and these revelations now seem to be far from complete. The IRS at first revealed that the words Tea Party, Patriots, and a few other phrases triggered extra scrutiny. Since then, more and more revelations have come to light. Mr. Chairman, I have with me a 150-page document given to me by the Thomas More Society detailing a number of pro-life organizations throughout the country which, in application to 501c3 status, were given horrible instances of IRS abuse of power, political and religious bias, and a repression of their constitutional rights. I'm going to submit these documents detailing what these organizations went through to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, asking for a reply to this committee about the degree of abuse these organizations received during their application for tax-exempt status. I would like to just highlight a few of those purported abuses and ask for your opinion on them. A letter from the IRS Office of Exempt Organization Specialist in El Monte, California, specifically the Pacific Coast Division, I would note this is not in the Cincinnati Division, to the Christian Voices for Life of Fort Bend County in Sugar Land, Texas, dated March 31st, 2011, that I have here with me today. They were asked specifically, again, this is a pro-life group, in your educational program, do you do education on both sides of the issues in your programs? Mr. Miller, your knowledge of the 501c3 application, is that an appropriate question to ask?
So I'm going to be honest, and I'm not going to be able to speak to a specific development letter in a specific case. I don't know that I can do that under 6103.
Okay, let me ask you about another letter that was received by a pro-life group, this one in Iowa. Their question specifically asked from the IRS to the Coalition for Life of Iowa, quote, please detail the content of the members of your organization's prayers. Would that be an appropriate question to a 501c3 applicant? The content of one's prayers.
It pains me to say I can't speak to that one either, but that's an...
You don't know whether or not that would be an appropriate question to ask an applicant?
Speaking outside of this case, which I don't know anything about, it would surprise me that that question was asked.
And finally, during another applicant's conversation or back and forth, they were asked specifically, quote, please detail certain signs that may or may not be held up outside of a Planned Parenthood facility, end quote. Would that be an appropriate follow-up to an applicant for 501c3 application?
Again, I don't know what the context would be, but again, that doesn't sound like the usual question.
Thank you. Well, hopefully, Mr. George and the Inspector General's office can enlighten us. Mr. George, during your investigations, are you aware of the 3 letters submitted by Senators Baca, Schumer, and Durbin, written to the IRS, specifically Mr. Schulman, asking them to give extra scrutiny to 501c4 applications?
I am aware of it, but I don't know the details, sir.
So in your investigation so far, in questioning employees of the IRS, did you ask them specifically whether or not these letters from sitting United States senators influenced or impacted their decisions around these cases?
I do not believe that was part of the inquiry, sir.
Will you ask those questions in the future?
I will ask that if appropriate. We will certainly do so if appropriate.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I'm particularly troubled by some on this committee who seem to want to rationalize or justify the inappropriate behavior by the IRS in these cases by their disagreement with the Citizen United ruling of our Supreme Court. I think we all know that our nation is a nation of laws, and we either abide by those laws or not, to our peril. And whether we agree with the Citizens United ruling or not should not be justification for this agency, which is charged with upholding the rule of law equitably for all people in all groups, regardless of party affiliation or motive. Specifically, Mr. Miller, I was troubled by your comment that you found this grouping, Mr. George with the Inspector General's office calls it targeting, to be inappropriate but not illegal. I'm wondering if you can give me examples of other targeting within the IRS that you're aware of that would be inappropriate but not illegal.
So I probably, Congressman, should tell you that I don't know. It's my belief that what happened here wasn't illegal, but I suppose there are some facts that might come out that would indicate otherwise. But it's not my area. I don't know, but it certainly was inappropriate, no question about that. I'm unaware. We have used listings elsewhere.
Can you give
in
a
the
few examples?
credit counseling organization would be one of those that we used a name to pull those cases together to work in a consistent and fair manner.
All right, time has expired. Ms. Jenkins.